All right, hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Thank you for tuning in. It means a lot that you guys are following, liking, and even building engagement with everything that I'm posting. It means a lot. I can't believe that we just crossed, or we're almost gonna hit 150 followers, just one more follower, which is quite amazing that we started about only a month ago in terms of posting social content. The Valve Fund has been there for almost a year, but I tried every other social platform and it wasn't, I didn't get the traction, but definitely Blossom Social had some traction. So yeah, thank you for the following. And yeah, so for this week's video, I'll start off with NIO, and we kind of missed this buy signal in the week of July 7th. I wish I had the resources to scan the entire stock market and find these stocks, but you only hear about them uh, after the fact, which is kind of annoying. But there are some stocks that we do find before, and it's the typical trying to balance giving value to our paid customers and trying to also give out free signals so that people can see the value of the Valor Fund and its signals. But yeah, anyways, in terms of NEO, we did get a strong buy in the week of July the 14th, I guess, at $4.05. And we also got multiple buys after that. And usually I kind of like when this happens. That shows me that one, there's been a change of momentum and change of direction and even change like a break of structure. And now we're seeing multiple buy signals, which indicate a lot of buyers are stepping in. Not sure if it's institutional or retail. Either way, that's, it's a good sign. And just week after week after week, seeing those buys coming in with a lot of volume as well is quite interesting. And so, in terms of fundamentals, not much for the stock. Morgan Stanley just lifted its price target to 650, which again I said is before. The analysts just change it as and when you go, so it's not something to look to, but it gives you an indication of what everyone's thinking. The other thing that was of relevance was that NIO released a new model. It's called the Onvo L90 model, and they're gonna do the same thing as Tesla, where you do the pre-booking and all that kind of stuff, and you don't know when you're actually gonna see the car. But I guess all that um, noise and rumors is what's causing the hype for the stock, and momentum's heating up. And also, you have earnings coming up in 2 weeks. What was interesting is literally the day after we posted this, the stock was up another 15, I think 16% on the max for the day. So from that strong buy, you would have been up 55, and from that post, you would have been up already 13 to 14%. So coming to the chart, Neo has had a history of moving quite a lot. So that I think was almost 1,000% gain. And I remember in 2020, everyone was talking about this stock. Oh, sorry, 2,000% gain, which is insane. So it definitely has the ability to move with the right, environment. And now coming back all the way here, so it's retraced quite a bit. It's got a couple of times when it's tried to push up, and so the way how I'm playing this is, because you never know which way the market is going to move, is I will be placing a stop buy probably somewhere just above this, around 660 to 665 maybe, or 670. And probably a tight stop loss, because with earnings coming in, this could be, buy the rumor, sell the news type of play. But if it's not, and let's say the earnings is good, then the next point I'll be watching is 776, which was the previous time it tried to hit and, got rejected and pulled back all the way here. And so if it's able to hit cross that, then we're looking, really good. What is interesting is on the daily, because this is weekly candles. So on the daily, it's already, crossing some good indicators of looking that there's going to be some bullish movement. And so, yeah, that's what's making this stock interesting. Definitely something to look at. and hopefully this stock does really well. Um, I mean, in terms of our signals, it's done really well already. We're already up 62% from the signal, but unfortunately we missed the signal. And so yeah, so we'll just see if we buy it over here. Let's see what happens. And moving on, the next one was obviously Ticker Tuesday. Thank you guys for submitting everything. I just liked all of this, so thank you so much for all the submissions. It means a lot to me, and I'm also sure for the community as well. Gets a chance to get their stocks analyzed and even showcase what the Valorant strategy can do. So in terms of the tickers, actually, sorry, before I get into the tickers, last week's video we went over a couple of uh, stocks from Ticker Tuesday, and the buy signals that came out were Enbridge and IBIT. I mentioned that Enbridge, good stock, slow moving stock, big cap, um, and yeah, we got a buy signal at $48.21. And then IBIT, I mentioned that it's a Bitcoin play, and we're at all-time high right now. And I think everything's also getting really, really all-time high. So I would be also cautious just in terms of the macro environment. I would expect, a crash to come soon. At least that's what I feel. Everyone says no crash is coming, and then it just shoots up another 20-30%. But yeah, it's just evaluations are getting really, really high right now. And so it will be interesting to see how September plays, which usually September, October, November seasonally has been a time where most stocks dump. But anyways, IBIT, couple of years ago, Bitcoin plays 100% for it. You would have made a lot of money. We made a lot of money as well. But right now, I would be cautious of this. So in terms of the plays, IBIT, I think did not fulfill. Yeah, so here we had a stop buy at the top of here, and the stock just opened really low. So that did not fulfill. And Enbridge, I think, had a good week. If my thing can load, yeah, Enbridge had a good week. You would have been fulfilled on this buy. You would have been down, like I think it's only 0.5%. But yeah, overall, the stock is quite good in terms of how they are as a company. Um, in terms of technical, I'd watch if they can sustain and be above this 47.66. And then if they are, then I would expect them to, run all the way to this peak over here, which is $57. There's literally nothing in its way. That's another 20% run. For a big stock like this, that's quite good. So yeah, that's Enbridge. And then we also mentioned in our episode 6, which was last week's video, which talked about episode 2, of how we had an open strong buy for Run, which was again a ticker submitted through Ticker Tuesday. And that time it was, I think, 38%. And this week, they had a really good run, and it was up, I believe, 9% on the day and 16% on the week. So that's up 54% from that strong buy. So definitely building momentum. Um, this one, though, I'm not too sure if it can sustain the momentum. Yes, you got good news of the government stepping in and, like, uh, being more lenient or change. There is some hope that there might be some changes, but and it did do well in earnings. But I'm just not. I don't know why. I'm just not too sure if it can actually sustain the run. If it does pull back and there's definitely another buy signal and it's above these resistance points, then it's going to get interesting to see if it can break these high points of 22 to see the next run. Because if we're looking at it on a bigger scale, it has retraced quite a bit from where it was. And so, yeah, definitely an interesting stock. In terms of the public signals, BWMX, just to reiterate, we executed this quite well. We had a strong buy. Let me just load this quickly here. So yeah, we had a strong buy at 9.15. We put out a public post at 979. From there, we're up almost 58% from that strong buy. Again, for new followers or new viewers, at 30%, we remove 50% of our position. At 60%, we remove 25% of our position. Unfortunately, it never hit the 60%, so we're still left with the 50% of our position. And the other thing we do is when it crosses 30% and holds, we push up our stop loss from wherever it was. I think the swing low was here to 10% above our buy price, our entry price. So yeah, in terms of the stock, I would expect a bit of consolidation, and maybe a pullback, and then let's see how the next earnings does, how they do, and if they do well, I'd expect again, a push up. If they don't, at least we have a stop loss at 10%. For OMCL, I wasn't too happy with how the stock has performed in the past 3 weeks because we had an open buy signal over here. We told everyone 33.99. It still hasn't fulfilled. It's taken like 3 weeks. This past week was we finally got to see some momentum. I think it was like 5% on the day and 6% on the week. So let's see how it does. I think most likely this buy would be canceled. But yeah, I'm just curious to know how it would play and if it's able to sustain that momentum, or is this a really slow moving stock? Yeah, I'm not too sure. Anyways, moving on to Ticker Tuesday. So the first one was RMBS. This one was definitely a good stock in terms of our strategy. We picked up some really good signals. I think there were like 600% signals on this one. Yeah, so we had a buy in November 2020, which would have been up 400%. We had another buy in November 2021, so a year later it'll be up 30%. Then another buy in 22, 100%. And again, we see the momentum build up, but unfortunately it's not able to hold it, so we have a loss of there 15%, another loss of 11%, and up another 50%. So overall, stock has done really well in terms of our strategy, picking up some buys. Moving on to the next one, AUR. Um, this stock is, something that I really like, and I've also seen this pattern quite a lot, where you have a fairly new stock, it either shoots up or shoots down, but then you have this massive bleed. And after this massive bleed, institutional funds or hedge funds, this is where I feel they start getting in, and this is where also, you should be getting in as well. And but this pattern is there all over the market and in many different stocks. And actually, even in the 10 tickers that we have today from you guys' submission, I think there's one or two which with the same concept where you have this massive bleed where hedge funds will either drive this down to extinction and almost to death, and that's when they want to get in, and they don't want retail getting in here, but they want to build their positions to a level, and so you might see a little bit of push ups and then massive pull downs, but this is where they're getting in slow amounts and then big amounts before the big run up. But anyways, our strategy is able to pick up that and avoid all this noise before, and we pick up the change of direction here. The first one was in Jan 23, which would be up 600% from there, and then over here this one would have been up 100%, and then you'd have a loss here of 32. Now in hindsight, this would have been you know a really scary or stupid play. I mean, you've gone up for that week. If I can just bring this down a bit, you've gone up 40% on that week. I'll just show it to you guys here. Yeah, 40% on that week, which is quite a lot. And then you put a stop buy on top of that, and just pushes up a bit, and then it just comes crashing down. And so it never hit our stop loss, which was over here, I think. Yeah. So that would be a 60% drop. Realistically, it'll be quite hard to hold a stock negative 60%. I know that there are some diamond hands out there and they probably would hold the stock. But yeah, it's in hindsight, it's kind of scary to do that. But it's hard to know because, sometimes the stock could just fly out there, like, just move. But sometimes it doesn't. And this is where also risk management comes into play. But yeah, you have this typical play. They'll bring it up, you get a higher low, a higher low, a higher low, and then that's how they push it up all the way. So that's AUR. The next one is TSLZ. This is an inverse Tesla ETF leveraged twice. So definitely moves fast if Tesla is falling. And we had a strong buy in February 2025. You have been up 100%. ETFs are not my play, but if you wanted, a volatile ETF, this could be one of them. BITX, again, same concept as IBIT. I wouldn't be interested in this right now in terms of Bitcoin. Unfortunately, also, we never got any buy signal. I'm not sure why. We didn't get any strong buy. Maybe it hasn't had, a good pullback or retrace or even any momentum in any direction. So, yeah, so no buy signal by BITX. The next one was CRWV, which is CoreWeave. This is fairly new stock, so not much movement. And same concept as AUR. I would expect this stock to bleed quite a bit, which is it has already started. Maybe there'll be some big green candles, but I would expect it to come back all the way down to where it started, between, like, 64 to 35, I guess, or $33 range. It'll be interesting to see what happens, if it starts consolidating and there's some change of direction, or would they bleed it more, beyond this all-time low. So curious to see which way this stock will go, but definitely a lot of time for this stock, I think, at least for now, based on what data I'm seeing. Next one was RR, Rich Tech Robotics. Again, same concept as AUR, fairly new stock, bled all the way to extinction, and then you have these massive run ups. So, in terms of our strategy, we got one here in 24, which was up 80%, and then here another one, which was up 200%. Again, quite scary to hold this one. I think this one was even worse because you would have been down. Oh no, same. Almost negative 70% before you got the 200% run. In hindsight, what I would have done is, for this stock, if I just zoom in here for you guys. Um, so again, same concept. You have a week which is up 83%, which is quite crazy. And then, the strategy is calling for a strong buy here. What I would have done is ignore this strong buy, see what happened the next week. And now, obviously, we see the big dump. And then I would have just watched it. And then I'm pretty sure there would have been some normal buys over here. And then I would have done those, rather than holding it here to here, which is quite a long time. Yeah, so that's just a little tip there. The next one is OKLO. I believe this stock, there was no strong buys. Yeah, there were no strong buys for this stock. Not sure why, but there was normal buy signal. There was a normal buy signal around $40, and it was fairly recent, actually, May 2025. You would have been up 113% from that buy, so which was pretty good. Next one was AVIVA. So I believe Steve sent this. Unfortunately, I think this is on an exchange that my code can't run scans on. So I wasn't able to get much data, and even the chart looks a little bit weird. So maybe I have the wrong stock. But yeah, maybe comment and let me know, or DM me, if it was another stock. If it's a non-US stock, it'll be hard for me to scan that, unfortunately. Next one was UPS. Yes, this stock has been quite bad in terms of my strategy. So, I don't want to always just post things that are all showing that my strategy is amazing. If anyone says that a strategy is like 100% perfect, It's a bunch of lies. Every strategy has some failure points, and this is one of them. So you have basically what's happening is you always have a momentum build up here, lots of green candles, and that's what my strategy is trying to find. And then you have this massive dump, and it happens over and over and over and over and over in UPS, which would result in a lot of losses. So I can just show it here rather than drawing it for you. So this is UPS, um, and yeah, you can see here strong buy, but loss of -9, -8, -5. I mean, it did do well way back in 20. So you had in 2021, you had a sell, which was about 100% gain, and so T22, which was right here. So that would be a buy at $100 in 2020. So that makes sense. I mean, in 2020, you threw your money anywhere in the stock market, and you would have definitely got a gain. So that's your 2020 crash. That would be the 100% gain. So whoever submitted UPS, I would wait till this stock has, kind of settled, and is building direction or momentum in a certain direction, either down or up. Because having it go up and down like this is also kind of tells me that there is some manipulation here. Because, it doesn't matter what is happening. Yeah, sure, there's, some good earnings, some bad earnings. But to have a drops like that consistently, it's definitely they're trying to get people out before they start building some position. I would think at least, or maybe the company is just doing too bad. I don't know. Next one is BP. Again, not many positions on this stock as well. Um, yeah, unfortunately, no signals on this stock. So that is that. And then the last one is AVGO. If my thing can load. AVGO, I really like this stock if my things can load. Yeah. So AVGO definitely had some really good calls from our strategy, and this is what our stock is looking for, or sorry, what the strategy is looking for, these type of stocks, and you can see it in hindsight. I mean, the stock has done extremely well from 2020 to now. And yeah, we did get a strong buy somewhere in 2020, and then we got another strong buy in 2022, both up more than 400%. The first one up 800 and the second one up 500%. So definitely a good stock in terms of the past. um but yeah, and that's that. So I guess what you guys have all been waiting for, are there any signals this week? And yes, there is only one, which is RMBS, and it's a buy signal and a normal buy and $75. And yeah, your position would be 1 to 3%, and it's expected. But one thing I would note with RMBS, I mean, it is, you know as you can see, it's quite stretched a lot, and the gains has been there quite a lot as well. So if I were you, again, same concept as what we were saying before. You have a buy signal now here at 75.91. Just see how the next week does. If there's a lot of bullish momentum and it's able to beat its previous high of 78.09, then definitely get into the stock, because it's gonna at least move 10 to 20%, and 10 to 20% is still quite good. So yeah, those are the 10 uh I guess 10 submissions for Ticker Tuesday. Hopefully you guys got some good value and good idea of how the value strategy works. And if you guys want to scan these stocks, just head on to my website. It's thevalorfund.world, and it's only $5 a stock to scan. And you never know, your stock might be the next one that shoots up, like NIO. I wish we had that, or I wish at least someone submitted that, because then everyone would have got that gain in the week of July 7th. Um, but yeah, so thank you again for watching, and see you guys next week.